Hello game fans and welcome to another video from Gaming Debugged. Now I'm sorry for the short break from the last video, but after Gamescom I was a bit ill. So now there's a lot to talk about really with Gamescom. Obviously being delayed must mean that everyone's already talked about it, but what I really wanted to focus on today was the Tomb Raider exclusive. I mean, this was a big news from Phil Spencer during the Xbox Microsoft briefing, as it were. So I wanted to talk about this and really give my opinion on it, because I can see that there's definitely two sides to this story. Obviously, from a consumer point of view, the consumer expected Tomb Raider 2 to be multi-platform, and so an exclusivity deal isn't really going to make much of a difference. They were going to buy on Xbox or the PlayStation, and for the Xbox owners now, yes, they'll be able to buy it, and the likelihood is that they're going to buy it on PlayStation 4 a few months later. But what's really interesting is that Phil Spencer then came out to Eurogamer to sort of explain his decision. Now, there's two sides to that thing. There's a business deal happening right there, because it's, by the sounds of this interview, it kind of almost he infers. I mean, he's like a politician during this interview, but he infers that this deal was on the table. You know, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, they offered this deal to a platform to take it because they wanted to raise funds, because they wanted to get some early payments in, and so this deal was offered to everybody, but it was just Microsoft that took it. Now, if we just break this down a little bit, so Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, okay, they were very disappointed with the Tomb Raider, the new reboot Tomb Raider sales. I mean, if you look at it, when it was first released in 2013, it was brilliant. It sold 1 million within 48 hours. And then it even set a new record. It doubled the amount of Tomb Raider Legends sold, and it even beat Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness in sales. But by March, they'd only sold 3.4 million copies, and this is a $60 million game. So by I think it was August of that 2013, it was more like 4 million, and then it started to just level out. So it was under their predicted sales targets. And then when it got to the end of 2013, they did come out and announce that they actually had achieved profitability, finally, sort of 8-10 months after its release. Then the definitive edition was released in February 2014, and then that actually helped as well, because that then brought the Xbox One owners on board. And so by the last figures was, I think, June 2014, and that was saying that it had sold over 6.5 million, it was now in profitability, but barely. So, you know, this is interesting because obviously it was an expensive game to make. It didn't need to cost 60 million. They could have saved a couple of million by not having the multiplayer, but you know, they decided to go for it, experiment, and so they're doing it again. So maybe they're feeling a little bit worried that this one might not do as well. You know, not only is it a sequel, but you know, they need to achieve profitability. So somewhere along the line, somebody had made this business decision to say, well, we could get a couple of million or a few million or something like that, of that nature, if we put it out to the platforms and say, who wants it 6 months before the others? Because it makes business sense. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? If you were a game developer and you wanted to get some funds 12, 18 months before the game's launch, this is a really good deal to go for. So they put it out to everyone. Phil snapped it up. I mean, Phil's saying that he snapped it up because, I mean, this is my interpretation, obviously. He snapped it up because he looked at his portfolio and he said, right, okay, first-person shooters, we got them covered. You know, sci-fi shooters, we've got Halo. Okay, racing games, we've got Forza, but that's fine. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, so then he looks at all of his portfolio. He says, third-person shooters, we got Gears coming. We got all these things. But when it came to this sort of third-person adventure space, he felt that the portfolio was lacking. So PlayStation 4 are going to have Uncharted 4, you know, that was greatly inspired by Tomb Raider in the past, and it's going to be coming out around the same sort of time, holiday season or Christmas time 2015. So for Phil, this was a good opportunity to get one of these games, put it in his portfolio, so that means when he looks at what he's got, that when Uncharted 4 comes out, he's got Tomb Raider, he's got something to push in that space. I mean, obviously they're not going head to head against each other, but it's just nice to have a game that's going to fill that space. Now, despite all his exclusivity deal talking, it was sort of inferred there is a duration, and he doesn't own the IP. So therefore, it might be 3 months, it might be 6 months, who knows? He didn't go into specifics of how much he paid or how long the duration is going to be. He just said that the deal was on the table and he went for it. Now, obviously, this is him coming out from a political standpoint, trying to fan the flames of the backlash from this decision. But he's made some valid points. And for me, I can see why he's done it. From a consumer point of view, I'm annoyed. I'm upset really for the PlayStation 4 owners because they were going to get it. Everyone was going to get it at the same time, and now they're not. But I can also see it from a game developer point of view, and I can also see it from a business point of view. So I'm happy that I'm going to be, going to be getting it anyway. I thought the first one of the reboots was amazing, so I look forward to playing the second one. Now, really, I'm trying to think. I mean, if Sony's not really done a similar thing. I know they've come out in articles and on websites saying that they don't need to buy exclusivity, which is not entirely true. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if you remember Dreamfall: The Longest Journey on the original Xbox. That was quite a brilliant game, excellent game, and the sequel to that, the Dreamfall Chapters, was scheduled to come out for everyone. But now that is a PlayStation exclusive. So it's not as a big name, but obviously, those that think that Sony aren't doing these deals, they are. Sony and Microsoft are both doing these deals. They are both businesses looking to earn money, to forward their platform. So no one's innocent here. But what I think is just interesting is the sudden backlash. Obviously, the consumers are annoyed. But I think what really needs to be clear is that this was a business deal, and I don't think it's going to be the last. I think it's going to be par for the course. If you're developing a game, there's going to be offers that you need to put out there. You want to go to the Best Buys and the Shop2s and all of the big name sort of game brands and say, here, I'm a game developer. Tell you what, if I give you a hover bike, will you push my product? Hey, if you over there, if I give you a new set of armour, will you push my product? And then similarly, the platforms, if I give you a timed exclusive, are you going to give me some money? And it'll just mean that I can get my game made, I might be able to get it made faster, I might be able to get it made better. So these are going to happen more and more. This is just the very tip of the iceberg. So there you go. So that's, I'll take a breath now. So that is pretty much my opinion on the fact. I'd love to hear yours, so if you want to write down in the comments, I would love to hear what you think about this whole Tomb Raider exclusive thing. I think it overshadowed the Microsoft conference a little bit because there was I think there's 27 indie games announced also in that same hour or 2 hour time period, and a lot of their announcements, even the Quantum Break stuff, was a little bit lost in this kind of shock and awe of this first section. But it's out there, it's being talked about, and that's my opinion. Love to hear your opinions, and if you want to see any of my other coverage from Gamescom, go to www.gamingdebug.com, and there's articles and images, and you can see all of those 27 indie titles I talked about, as well as a lot of the Microsoft stuff. Alright, take care.
Finish him!
If you want more, don't forget to like, comment or subscribe, or click the link for even more reviews.